Lionel Messi finally signed with somebody. Last time we talked about who could he sign with. We said PSG, Manchester City were like the two options. I mean, the most obvious options. There's probably more teams, but he wasn't going to go play for like Villarreal or some shit.
Hell no, bro. Hell no.
But yeah, he ended up signing with PSG. So now we have the new Galacticos, bro. Like, what, 20 years later? You weren't even born when the last Galacticos.
I wasn't, bro.
That's
I wasn't.
crazy.
I wasn't, bro. I'm like 18. I'm like 2 years behind.
So Galacticos original. That's why I became a fan of Real Madrid, because we had like all the stars got together. So it's Figo. We had Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo.
Yeah.
We had David Beckham joined. Like, he was a huge star at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, of course, you already had people like on the team like Raúl, Roberto Carlos, Casillas became the starter at the time. So it just, then they signed Sergio Ramos. So it's just like a huge
stacked team.
Just a bunch of stars.
Superstars, yeah.
And I feel like we haven't seen that. We've seen like Barcelona when they had Neymar, Luis Suarez, and Messi. It was still big, but it wasn't as big as it is now, because now you have Neymar, who's like a top 5 player in the world.
Yeah.
Mbappe, I don't know how you would rank him, but he's definitely he's a future.
5.
He's a future of football. He already won a World Cup. He's amazing. He's super fast. So he's top 10, top 5.
And he's young too.
And he's young. Now you have Messi, the GOAT, joining the team. And then they signed Sergio Ramos too, bro. We haven't even talked about him. Sergio Ramos, captain at Real Madrid for the longest time. Just like a great defender. Maybe he's not in his prime anymore, but he still has the leadership. And what's pretty interesting, Sergio Ramos and Messi kind of hated each other because one played for Real Madrid, one played for Barcelona.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
So
now they're on the same team, bro.
Now they're on the same team.
Like Sergio Ramos today posted on Instagram, it was a picture of him and a picture of like his jersey next to Messi's jersey,
jersey
at the like team store and shit.
That's crazy.
So what do you think about PSG right now?
Well, obviously, bro, they're a stacked team right now. I mean, come on, you have Mbappe, like you said, Neymar, Di Maria, Sergio Ramos. They have who else?
Verratti,
Venati,
Di Maria.
Is Icardi still?
Icardi's still there too. They have Marquinhos, Santiago Silva.
Dude, and then you throw in Messi to the mix. Like, come on, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I knew he was gonna go to PSG. Why?
They also signed the goalkeeper from Italy who just won the Euro Championship. He was also joining, and he's also like 22 years old,
bro.
And he was amazing at the European Championship.
I knew Messi was gonna go to the PSG. Why? Because of the longevity, because of the money too, but also because of the longevity. Like, now that Messi's like in a good team, like it's not like it's different. He's gonna play different now because, like, when you play with Barcelona, Barcelona, like, he was relied on, and now he has like his teammates to rely on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know, he has the best to rely on now. So it's now like him, like the pressure's not just on him now. It's like he actually has like a good, solid, you know, team to work. I mean, he has the best, bro. Like,
yeah, well, it's kind of like the same thing that's happening with LeBron. I mean, comparing it to basketball, it's like LeBron's amazing. He's going to do his thing. But now with Westbrook, he doesn't have to carry the ball every time and just waste his energy. Exactly. Just save it for the important moments, which is like fourth quarter or in the playoffs. Like, don't waste your energy during the regular season. Let Russell Westbrook fucking bounce around and get a triple-double and then just show up for the playoffs, because that's what LeBron does. Like, he's been kind of like saving his energy. So Messi's going to do the same thing. He doesn't have to carry the team every week. That's exciting. And now it's like, I don't remember the last time I watched a PSG game that wasn't Champions League. Like, I haven't tuned in to watch the French League and it's been probably decades. And that's it. But now it's like, oh shit, it's must-see TV, bro. It's like the French people are going to start learning about the French League. So same way with like La Liga. It doesn't get as much like social media.
Like, it's not known.
The Premier League, it has the marketing for the Premier League is like almost double than anything else. So that's why it gets more TV time. There's better rights for like the games. They show almost every game like on TV and shit, because they have the more marketing money, and the big investors came into the Premier League in the 90s. So La Liga was super popular because we were tuning in for Ronaldo and they were tuning in for Messi for the longest time, especially Barcelona. They've been on 15 years.
La Liga mostly like hosts all the like Spaniard
stars. Was the Spanish teams, but it's all the stars always play in La Liga. So even before Messi, you had Ronaldinho, you had Ronaldo, you had Kaká with Real Madrid.
Right.
Like even Atletico had a bunch of just good teams, like Valencia when they had Villa and all those dudes. La Liga was always number one. Yeah, and just throwback. Then the Premier League always had stars, but it was never the best. Right now, it feels like the Premier League's the best league because it has so much amazing teams. Like you have Chelsea, who just won. Actually, they beat Villarreal today in penalties. They won the European Super Cups as the winner of the Champions League versus the winner of the Europa League.
Yeah.
And then they played each other for like a super championship. So Chelsea won in penalties today. So you have Chelsea. You used to have Liverpool, who's been injured the last couple of years, so they might come back. You still have Manchester City, who's won the league like 3 years in a row. You still have Manchester United, who's a big name, but they've been underwhelming for the last 10 years. But they're still a big name. They have big players in there. But now it's like the French league and the German league have always seen as like farmers leagues. Leagues where they're called farmers leagues because they just develop players, and once they get good from like smaller French teams, they get signed to the Premier League. They get signed to the Liga. They get signed. So they've been farmers leagues. So now it's like, it's still a farmers league because the rest of the teams aren't as great.
Right.
But it's so much exposure that's gonna be happening while they play PSG that people are gonna be tuning in and watching Lille and watching Marseille and watching Lyon and watching all those teams. Like, okay, cool. Now I get to see these players. Like, who the hell is that guy that plays for that team? Like, who's playing good against PSG? You know, so I think it's good for the sport. Everybody in the world is gonna be watching that league now. So
good for France too, like you said, opening more doors, more eyes
young
to
players.
the product, more investors probably too.
Hell yeah,
more money, bro.
Dude, whoever has the rights to broadcast those games is gonna be making some bang from the freaking investors, bro.
Bro, it's all about the money.
Yeah, it is always about the money. I wonder how many jerseys they're gonna sell, bro. Like,
bro,
Sergio Ramos and then Messi, bro. Fuck,
bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Those jerseys do look good though. Like,
I was even thinking of getting a Sergio Ramos jersey, like a PSG Sergio Ramos. I don't know. I like those jerseys. They're pretty bad.
I don't know, bro. But like, you think people might like slander on social media, like, oh, like if somebody gets like a Messi jersey, like. You know what I mean? Like
bandwagon
type shit.
Yes, of course you're gonna get that either way, but also like you could still be fan of I watch Juventus. I'm a fan of Ronaldo. Like whatever he goes, I support Portugal when they play. I support Juventus. I hope if my team's not playing, like I want him to win. You know, it's like some people are just Messi fans. Like Barcelona's gonna lose a lot of fans for sure.
Oh,
they were Messi fans, you know, and it's bandwagon. But when it comes to that kind of thing, it's like. You could still root for a team or even root for a player. I don't think it's a big thing.
Like a lot of people follow Tom Brady when you left the
same
Patriots.
Thing. Even Patriots fans, they were still Patriots fans, but then they were rooting for the Buccaneers, and people got Buccaneer jerseys. I know this dude, his name's Sterling. He lives in Washington. We became friends on Twitter. I had him on a podcast actually like 2 years ago. And then this dude's he's the biggest Tom Brady fan, and he even got a Buccaneers jersey, and he was supporting him through the playoffs and shit. So it's like, I get it. I'm a fan of LeBron.
Yeah.
That's a perfect, again, segue. It's always LeBron, bro. Sports. Yeah, talk about LeBron. Yeah, like I was rooting for LeBron whenever he was the Cavs, the Heat, the Lakers, fucking whatever team he goes to. I support LeBron. So it's like the same shit.
Yeah.
Even the Lakers, like I kind of don't want to because I don't like the Lakers, but it's LeBron, bro. Like he's the GOAT. You guys support the GOAT.
You're going to watch LeBron no matter what. And I mean, yeah, like you said, it's, You mentioned a good point at the last podcast we had about like just these superstars just transcending the sport, and just always bringing eyes, and no matter what, whether if it's like through the sport or whether it's like through their business too, like a lot of these like soccer players, and even just these athletes, they have like their own shoes going on. Same thing with. Music artists as well coming out, clothing.
Yeah. Branding deals.
The branding deals.
It's all about brand deals. It's about getting attention. So in the last podcast, we briefly mentioned it. We talked about Rihanna getting like $1 billion.
Right.
And Travis Scott and all that stuff. People use rap to do what they want to do, or they use sports. An athlete, of course, maybe you growing up, you want to be a basketball player or an NFL player, but you have other passions. So you're going to use either your talents to get to the top, you make your money, and then you can do whatever you want. Or you start a music career, you blow up, you get people's attention, you get to where you want to get, you get the money. Now you could start that clothing brand. Now you could start that shoe collection. Now you could start that real estate or whatever you want to do.
I think especially like in sports and and stuff like mostly in sports, you kind of have to, because a lot of the times, like when you are an athlete, whether if it's MMA, basketball, soccer, like there's a timeline of your career. Like you could be making like millions of dollars in your 20s, like early 20s. Like you could have like, like just making the most amount of money, making the most out of those contracts. But then you get injured. And then like it all goes downhill, or you end up the
average like NFL career is like 2 years, the average career.
Yeah,
because NFL is the
if you're a running back, especially,
bro, there's so many talented players that they just get cut, they get hurt. Either receivers, bro, like there's so many talented receivers out there that it's hard to sign with the team and get chance in the first team. Like a lot of them just, even though they had the talent, maybe they just needed some more chances. Maybe they just need to play a little bit more to get like shown out there. But
then they get that one.
Then every year, if they don't really make it in that 1-2 year period, there's a draft, and then all kinds of new receivers come, and then the next year another draft. So it's like it's hard for teams to just keep signing these guys. There's so much, like, imagine how many college teams, 130 plus Division I college teams, even Division II. There's some great players there too. And they can only draft like so many players, 200 players, I think, or 250 players gets drafted, and there's probably like 10,000 that want to make it to the NFL.
Yeah, for athletes, they have to maximize they have to be smart with their money, because they're not always going to be. I mean, when they see that money and when they first get those contracts, it's like it's fat. It's like it's so overwhelming to like see all that money, because it's like.
Yeah, a lot of athletes go broke fast.
Bro, like I think Shaq like overspent like his first like check that he got from when he signed to the NBA or something like that. Like he signed.
I don't know, to be honest.
I don't know. I just remember.
I know Giannis when he first got his first check, because he wasn't a top draft pick.
Right.
But Giannis, as soon as he got paid, he sent all the money to his family back in Nigeria. Or Greece, I'm sorry. So he sent all the money, and he didn't know he still had to pay taxes on that shit. So he didn't even have a ride to the arena. So there's a story out there where Giannis got picked up by a Milwaukee Bucks fan. Like he was running to the arena like from his apartment, and someone was driving to the game, and they saw, wait, is that Giannis? Like, what the heck? In Milwaukee, a fucking 7-foot fucking dude, And he's like, hey, wait, are you the rookie? And he's like, yeah. Oh, come, I'll take you to the game. So a fan picked him up because he didn't have money to start. Like he wanted to save money by running to the arena, because he sent all the money back to his family, just because he's unaware. And that's what happens with athletes. It's like you grow up like most of them. I don't know. I want to say most of them, but like most
low
people,
income.
They don't come from money management or low. So you come in, you played all your life, you haven't made a dime, then you sign a $1 million, $2 million, $500,000 contract,
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do with this? They buy a car, they buy like bling and all that shit, and then they forget about taxes and paying the agent, and then they're broke like the second, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that happens a lot. And like we said, if you only play for 2 years, you don't even have a chance to make that money back. Like you could screw yourself up.
And that's the thing. That's what I like seeing too, is like whenever I see athletes like doing their own thing, like starting their own business, making their own client products, even selling cologne too, like all that stuff.
Everything adds up.
They do that because like one, like I said, like their bodies can only handle the sport for so much. Like if it's a very physical sport, like football, like you said, there's only a certain amount of time that person can make, be useful to that team or be useful to that contract through the eyes of the manager or the coach or whatever. And it's like, how could, like, through the eyes of the athlete, how could you maximize like that money? Like instead of, being stupid with your money, how could it, like, you put it into assets, or you be smart with it. You start like as soon as you get hired, you get prepared to be fired. So you start investing into assets, different things. That way you're not reliant on that check, because I know a lot of wrestlers too, especially in wrestling. A lot of like, it's, even though it's fake, like, no, yeah, it's still like physical, you know what I mean? And a lot of wrestlers do end up getting released. Like WWE right now has been releasing
just
cutting a lot of people and cutting a lot of wrestlers. And so some of the wrestlers start getting into investing, start getting real estate, stocks, start their own business, Bitcoin, like, yeah.
Russell Okung, he was a left tackle for Seattle, the Chargers for a couple years, and I forgot what team. The Lions now. When he signed a contract with the Lions,
he's with Detroit.
He signed a contract and he wanted to get paid in Bitcoin. It happened last year. last
oh yeah, you told me something about that.
Yeah, he got paid in Bitcoin, and then that, I forgot how much, maybe $2.5 million. I don't remember, to be honest. But whatever he invested into Bitcoin, or the contract, the Bitcoin went up so much that he actually became one of the highest NFL players. And if Bitcoin does reach those 500,000,
it'll be levels, like the most paid.
Like, he's gonna be making like fucking $80 million a year type shit, based on just on incentives. Don't quote me on that because I haven't looked at the details, but that's just an example. Like, that dude decided to get, and he's a big advocate for Bitcoin, so he's on Twitter talking about Bitcoin and then having athletes, like, he has conversations with other athletes, kind of like trying to get the word out, show these people that, well, one, for cryptocurrency, but I think it's healthy as a whole for investing. Like you said, the same thing, getting these athletes paid, smarter decisions, think about your long term. We all want it now. We all want to be rich right now. But even I personally learned, I lost a lot of money trying to day trade or do options.
You can't time the market, bro.
I know, and it's like the number one lesson, like Warren Buffett, the greatest investor ever.
Right.
The rule number one is don't lose money. That's the rule number one. You got $100, you can get to 99, bro. Like, even if it takes you get to 102, but people want to take those $100 and they want to make 1,000 real quick, and then some shit happens. Maybe you do make $300 here, and then you end up losing on the next bet. You're kind of gambling with your stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, people do make it, but it's a very small percentage with the actual day traders and all that.
Yeah, but a lot of time and effort goes into that, because you gotta pick up on trends before like they start happening, and then it takes in a lot of time and energy and all that.
You have to be full time
for sure.
So I was trying to doing this like part time, let me just try to see, and I was successful. I did some good swing trading,
right?
But even then, like, the money I made, if I would have just held, because I started in 2018. If I would have just, like, I bought a bunch of Tesla, and then I swing it, I made maybe like $2,000 on the Tesla. And I sold the Tesla because it went up a lot. Cool, I made some profit. But if I would have just held on to that money right now, bro, Tesla went up like fucking 10x since then. So it was just like not a smart decision. And I ended up being,
short-term gratification leads to long-term problems, and that relates to anything, health, finance, like, just in general, like, you know what I mean? Like, we all want it now, but and that's what I like, going back to the athletes, like, that's a common theme that you see, like, whether if it's like basketball, baseball, football, wrestling, even, like, they're in a time, like, in their youth, like, in their prime, basically. And what do athletes do with their money? You've heard all the stories, like, oh, this person bought jewelry, the cars, because they didn't come from that. So I'm all for personal finance, and I'm actually learning about finance even too. And it's just, there's no excuse, I don't think, anymore.
Bro, like, your app is so good because you say you turned 18, bro. You're literally like set up better than most people like your age, bro. Like, people your age, first, they don't even have a job, most of them.
Yeah,
they just got out of school. It's still the summer, bro. Like, people are still enjoying their vacation.
Bro, I've actually seen a lot of, like, my homies work at Walmart. Like, whenever I go to Walmart, it's like a high school reunion. Like, you just start seeing, hey, what's up, Alex? What's up?
Shout out Alex.
Alex from Walmart.
Yeah, bro. It's like that you're investing, looking into crypto, looking into investing in real estate, looking.
But bro, like you gotta understand,
That's
it's
dope.
the information's out there, bro. Like the information is all out there.
YouTube University.
YouTube
bro.
University.
You can learn.
Like there's articles, bro. There's there's forums too to look into. Like there's books even. Like go to Barnes and Noble. You don't even have to buy the book. Just sit at the cafe.
Shout out if you live in the Coachella Valley. There's a Barnes and Noble. They have like a cafe at the Starbucks section. You just get a couple books. I've sat there before and just read books and shit. Just read a couple pages. But there's so much information, and it's like, is school even worth it now? Especially with all the online stuff. Like, are you? First of all, let me ask you, bro, because it's crazy. I haven't asked you this.
Yeah.
You literally were one of the COVID.
I was a COVID kid.
You were a COVID kid, bro. You graduated the year. First of all, your junior year, you got shut down.
Yeah.
And your whole senior year, you were like mostly doing online.
I didn't even.
It skipped your whole senior year, bro. Like all your activities, everything that.
I didn't even touch the school, bro. I didn't even like my feet. My toe didn't even hit like a classroom. None of that. It was all like, bro, I was just in a long-term vacation for a whole year. So 2020, like they classified the kids that graduated that year as like the quarantine class. Nah, bro. They were quarantined for like March, bro. That's basically like the end of the year, bro. We were the quarantine class. Like we had no activities like whatsoever. We didn't have no what are they called? No proms, no rallies. I can't tell you about sports because I didn't do a sport during my senior year. I mean, I know a couple people did some sports during quarantine. It was weird. They had games that I didn't know about. I don't know, bro. It was just like nothing but being in a computer screen, being at home, and like you had to wake up early, bro. It was definitely weird. Like I've never had a year where it was just I'm learning from home, and it's crazy to say. Like
how were your grades? How did you like get motivated? How was your grades, bro? Like, how are your grades? How are you getting motivated to actually show up to class every day?
That's the thing is
it makes no sense, bro.
I think
I would have failed.
I actually did my worst. I'm not gonna lie. My first quarter, I actually did the worst. My whole entire. I mean, I still did. You know, I still had passing grades. Let's not get that. Let's just put that out there. You know, I'm not. You know, I'm still trying.
Not slumming out here.
I'm not slacking, but I know I could have done better. But it's just at the same time, bro. It's like, why? It's like what you said right now. It's just, how do you find that motivation? Honestly, I don't know. Honestly, it was me. Like the only motivation I had was my mom not like yelling at me for missing like school, because, bro, I had like
chancla fine.
That chancla, and honestly, bro, it was just a force of habit, and I guess like when you go to school for so long, you're indoctrinated to wake up at 8, you know, or wake up around 7:30 or 7, depending if you take the bus. Most like no, actually, school starts at 7:10. Wake up at 6:30, depending if you ride the bus or not. But even then, bro, like you just I don't know. When you go to school for so long, you're just used to waking up early, I guess. I mean, some people aren't. But even then, like I said, like your parents, you know, like coming into your room and, you know, yelling at you for not going to school. Or, I mean, they'll even like call your home, like, hey,
if you're not online.
Yeah, no, but I've definitely spoken to a lot of teachers, and they said that they struggled with attendance just because.
Big time, I bet.
Big time. Well, yeah, dude. I mean, like, yeah, just learning from home. First of all, I think school just starts too early, really. Like, I don't think the brain is supposed to be learning, be accessing so much information like so early in the day, especially like a developing brain like mine.
Yeah, and especially you're not gonna get stimulated because you're in a Zoom meeting, bro. Like at least in the classroom, you kind of psych yourself out because you said you take the bus or you get a ride to school or you walk to school. The whole like journey there, you're like, oh, you're getting your subconsciously, oh, cool, I'm ready for school.
Mm-hmm.
You say what's up to your friends. You say what's up to the teacher. You interact with other people. And then you start, you're in a classroom. They have posters and shit. Here, you're in your room where you play video games or you just like relax. And now you're forced to sit down and listen to a teacher who probably doesn't want to be doing this and thinks it's stupid because it's the end of the world. Like, I'm pretty sure half the teachers, they don't want to be doing Zoom. They rather have it at the classroom. So it's just on all sides. There's no motivation.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was tough, man. Definitely for sure. Like,
what was the hardest thing about like taking an online class like that? Like,
it's just, man, I got distracted a lot for sure. Like, it was hard to concentrate because, like you mentioned, for me, I need to be in a dedicated space. Like, if I'm working, like for me, I always saw school like a place one. Like, I always look forward to school because of my friends.
Yeah.
Always. Come on, you ask anybody. Ask your favorite class. Like, maybe you have theater and the teacher's really funny and whatever. You have something to look forward to, whether it's sports, club, a cute girl you find attractive.
Yeah.
Rally, some fucking event. Right. But it was what were we talking about?
Motivation through COVID and Zoom.
No, but it was definitely tough for sure. Just that finding, man, how I'm trying to process this because I know, like, I lost my train of thought.
So you were saying the motivation was going to school. You said,
yeah. So
seeing your friends, seeing the girls you like, seeing
and have
teachers.
that all taken away, like the interactions throughout the day. All that taken away, and then all you are doing is you're just isolated. Like COVID, through obviously through a pandemic, you're going to school through a pandemic. The world, like, it's just a bunch of negatives, man. You're thinking people are dying, and then you're forced to go to school. So it just creates this. You have nothing to look forward to, but just look at a screen. And honestly, bro, that whole year, I just distracted myself from literally anything that I could. So what me and my friends we would do is we would go on Discord, which is like a kind of like a social media like computer app.
Yeah, where, I know Discord.
Yeah. So me and my friends, we would just to pass the time and distract ourselves and all that stuff. We would just play video games after class, and that's literally what we would do to distract ourselves. And that became a problem because
how was like having the Zoom meeting? Were you able to have the Zoom meeting open, but like be able to browse something else on the internet?
Yeah, dude.
Easily?
Yeah. I had 2 monitors. Of course, bro.
Of course. Okay, then school sounds easiest, but so that's why you got distracted.
I had 2 monitors, but at the same time, some kids had like an iPad. They had an iPad. They had their MacBook. I mean, they could connect. The school offered them like iPads,
a Chromebook or something.
Yeah, whatever. Like offer like a device like that, so you could be on one thing, like be on one screen and then be on another. You could be on one monitor and be on another. You could multitask if you want.
And your microphones were off the whole time.
Yeah, you had to, and that's the thing too about Zoom is it was mostly the
listening
teacher.
To the teacher. That sucks, bro.
Listening
you can't even
to
talk.
You can't even talk. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Would you ever have like Zoom meetings with classmates and friends and shit? Or like Zoom just hanging out?
After hours, yeah.
Well, of course.
Like if we needed to get something done and we just needed more time after class,
And how was like lunch breaks? Were you guys like playing video games with each other and shit, just hanging out? Or do you guys would log off? Or do you guys have time off?
We had like 10-minute breaks in between each class. Like each class would be like 45, like a regular. So in my school, we had like 3 classes each day, and then every 3 months, we would take the first 3 classes for the first 3 months, and then first 4 months, and after that, last set of classes, and then from there, it would constantly just switch. Like, so I only had like 3 classes to look forward to, which I actually appreciated. Meaning like less classes, less work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that also backfired because I played a lot of video games than I did like homework. Man, just
And how does like school motivate you? How do you feel about school moving forward? Like you just graduated high school. Do you want to go to college? Or do you thinking online classes are better? Do you think because you were like a Zoom graduate or whatever, or COVID graduate, like that you could handle more online only, or do you want to go back to physical school, or what's like your?
So here's the thing about school that I didn't really touch on, but I need a dedicated space to work in, meaning like I need to go, like if I need a, and that's one of the things I liked about school is that you had a physical place. You know, when you're trapped inside of your own room, you're comfortable. Like you have your bed right there.
Yeah,
you're not going to be taking
exactly what
you're not going to be taking, you know, there's a reason why you have a studio here is because like you have, when you go into that in an environment where it's just created, you know, to do a certain task, you have, you know, your, I don't know if it's psychology, but it's just your brain changes and you're just in that zone. So for school, I didn't like, and that's why I say I performed at my worst, because I was in a comfortable environment throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have those interactions. My social skills probably went down. Yeah. You know, just because when you go to school physically, you're used to seeing all those interactions. You're used to, you know, seeing a bunch of faces communicating. You're used to the chaos. I mean,
what about like,
oh, go ahead. Going back to your question, that's a really good question, because now that online learning, you know, this whole COVID thing has now shifted, you know, learning or teaching. Like, do we even need schools now? Do we need schools? And that's a complicated question, because I still think for the social aspect, school is needed, because we're humans, bro. We need
you need to interact with the tribe. You need to be part of a tribe.
We're social creatures, and we need that social interaction as much as possible. But at the same time, like school is so, how do you say it? It's
antiquated. Old.
It's the school structure, the way the school layout is just it's an old way of thinking. It hasn't evolved. So it hasn't evolved.
School, I saw this like video. It was more like
it's outdated. It's outdated.
Yeah, motivation. It was like a motivational channel. This guy who was like in a classroom debating how school is like stupid because it hasn't changed. So basically, he came into this like presentation, and it went viral like maybe 5-6 years ago, where he showed cars from the early 1900s, and he's like, this is a car in the 1900s, and this is a car in the 50s, and this is a car in the 80s, and this is a car now. This is a plane in the early 1900s. This is a plane in the 50s. This is a plane now. And he's like, this is a school classroom in the 1900s. This is a school classroom in the 1950s, and this is a classroom now. And it was the same shit, the same rows. Nothing has changed. Like we live in a system where, schools were developed to get more factory workers, which is like a documented fact. And the fact that they haven't even changed the structure, they still teach like the same similar stuff. Of course, things have improved. I don't want to say that they don't learn as much as they do, and things are better now, but I think it could be 10 times better.
Of course, bro. Especially with the technology. Especially with the technology. And that becomes a question is, do we need school? Like, when we have resources like YouTube? Like we constantly use YouTube all the time. You know, whenever you need to, like, whether if you're cooking, whether if you're, you know, you learned how to, you know, work with the camera. You didn't have to go to a film school for that. You learn everything through YouTube University because the information's out there. So that's crazy, man. Because you could learn, like back then there was a lack of information, but now we have an overload of information. So is school even?
You still need it because you need to get people in there. So it's the Louis C.K. joke where he says, you heard that one about schools, like, oh, it's math teachers, and who am I teaching? The people that live near the building. Yeah. You're not going to get those people to be motivated to learn on their own. And people do need basic education.
School is needed for structure, for sure.
You need to get the footprint, because people like to learn. Like I said, I learned all that shit on YouTube, but it's like I wasn't going to learn about geography. Well, actually, I learned the geography because of FIFA. Like when you're picking teams and shit.
Yeah, players international. You see the little drawings.
Or like, but I mean, what I was saying is like history or geometry. Like fuck geometry, bro. That's just trash. But it's like I'm not gonna learn that. But if it's part of the curriculum, then I end up learning that shit. So YouTube works, but you still need that structure. I think the future is gonna be. I think it has to be all online. Maybe like a virtual reality.
I think. Look, in my ideal case, school, like my perfect case, the school system would find a way to interact technology, but still have that social structure. So like integrating technology within the classroom, still having the benefits of the social interactions, making it collaborative. You know, we used to have this program in my school. It's not there anymore. Bro, we had this program before COVID.
Yeah.
If the district would have not gotten rid of it, we would have not been affected. Trust me. So this program was a project-based learning program where you still had science, math, English, whatever, but you went on your own pace. So if you cared more about math, you could be doing the whole day about math.
So you just had like a test you needed to complete.
Yeah, you could be doing whatever you want, but within reasonable time. But you went on your own pace. Yeah. So if you liked English more, you could be working on English more and work less on math. So it was more versatile. And that's the thing about school is it's not versatile. It's more geared towards the curriculum more than it is the individual. And that's what we need to, that's the thing that the district couldn't see. Like with that program, it was an online, bro. It was ahead of its time for sure. It was ahead of its time. It's called Summit Learning.
Yeah.
A lot of the schools used it in San Francisco. So a lot of like in Silicon Valley, of course, like those schools.
The hub.
And so this was like 2015, 2016. And you didn't even have to go to school. You didn't have to be at school. All you needed was just your login info. It was a website. So you just log in, do your homework from at home.
What's like, going back to YouTube, what's like the number one thing that you want to learn now that you have access and you could do everything on your own pace on YouTube or any courses or anything you want to take? Because like you still have like everything in front of you. And I think right now, I don't know if you still want to do, you were mentioning you want to get into coding, bro.
I've actually been, yeah. So that's that's funny that you mentioned. I've actually been learning a lot about finances, I was just posting
watching
some stuff.
Graham Stephan on YouTube.
Watching Graham Stephan. Yeah, watching Graham Stephan, reading a lot of books about finances, learning about credit, just stuff that they don't teach you about school. And that's another thing that
they teach us dumbass
geometry. They teach you how to,
fuck geometry
about, they teach you about, I mean, they don't teach you how to do stuff like taxes and investment and like that's the information that I seek is just
that you want to learn.
That I want to learn.
Yeah, I learned all that shit not as young as you did, but I was all on YouTube and I read some books, but for the most part, bro, like YouTube is it has anything you need to find, like even how to work like a certain TV. I don't know how to turn this monitor on. We fucking watch a YouTube video. The green screen, how to fold the fucking green screen, bro. I had to watch a YouTube video of that because we're stupid. We didn't know how to fold a green screen. We're like, this shit's a little difficult. Let's watch a YouTube video.
Or like monkeys working with a wrench or like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
You're stupid. But yeah, it's so YouTube, I think there's no point of going to college for me.
I mean, it all depends with me with college. It depends with if you're trying to go into.
But are you gonna get into coding? Or no?
So
because you were talking about going.
Yeah. So I'm actually looking into software engineering, which I'm applying to a coding boot camp. So traditionally, if you're trying to going into tech, going into coding, programming is what it's called, or web development. Traditionally, you go to a college, get a degree in computer science, but with modern times, things changing, there's these schools or online schools called boot camps where you actually take a course, a class, whatever you want to call it, and you actually get taught by like people that worked in the industry for like that actually alumni, people that worked from Facebook, Amazon, Coding Dojo. I think the head person of Coding Dojo used to be a programmer for Amazon. Okay. So you have like these courses or these boot camps run by professionals that lead in the industry, and you're getting taught for a quarter of tuition that you would pay for
a
university. And coding boot camps, like they set you up for, this is not advice or this is just my information that I've summed up. And you just go in there learning about coding because that's what you signed up for. Whereas if you went to college, you'd be learning general education. Your first, I think
general education is still valuable.
It is.
I only went to school for like 2 years. And I think I did like getting that general education, even though it's the same shit you get in high school. Like,
right.
The shit doesn't change, but I think you do mature as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm still immature now, but I definitely see the benefit there. As long as you keep learning and you learn shit that you want to be learning, bro, like not that dumb shit. I think that's important, bro. Like, I bet there's a lot of people right now, especially like the older I get, people that were talented that could have been doing a lot better. And then there's people who maybe they didn't do so great in school that are doing great right now. And that's something I've noticed. I mean, I've been out of high school like 10 years.
The key is to not be stagnant. You just got to keep learning because there's this saying that the mind, you got to have a childlike mind where you're just you got to have a childlike mind in the sense where you're absorbing as much knowledge as you can, because the more knowledge that you soak up, whether if it's like you're curious, you see a little kid and they're curious about everything.
Why? How does this work?
Yeah. And that's where I kind of see myself right now, is just being in that sense of how can I improve in the sense of money. I'm around it a lot. How can I learn about money? How can I use money in the sense of making me richer or making it work for me?
Have you looked at like investments you want to be doing?
Definitely real estate, but I need to get my credit up, so I'm learning about credit. It's like, yeah, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
So
for me, I have all my money in cryptocurrency right now. I have pretty much like 90% of my, I guess like 80% of my net worth is on cryptocurrency.
Oh, okay.
I believe in crypto 110%.
Yeah. So for me, I'm a young gun. I'm straight out of high school, so my focus is one, going to Coding Dojo, the boot camp, solidifying myself from there, getting a job at whatever company I could work for, a startup, work for a hand company, whatever. I think the succession rate is 95% of their graduates get a job within a year. Less than a year, something like that. So
yeah,
and it's tech, bro. Like the industry is gonna go up from here, just because software development, whatever app, like whatever.
Well, there's people that there's apps,
there's
websites,
but even,
there's apps, there's
even what do you call it? OS software. There's back end, there's front end, there's all kinds of programmers behind, working on running the iPhone, just the software, the OS.
Yeah, the operating system.
Operating system, exactly. Yeah, can't think right now.
That's crazy. No, I think the opportunities are endless. You should look into. I'll send you the link. I don't know if I sent you the link by the Pomp. He posts like almost every day. If you want to get a job in the future, well, one is tech, but two is tech for cryptocurrency companies. There's already jobs like being offered like 180,000, like a year to be working for these.
And that's mind blowing too. Is
the pay is insane, bro? Because digital is just the way to go. Like brick and mortar, it's just not. That's just ancient times, bro. And I'm going back to school. You went a year and a half of schooling all online, right. So this is like the infancy of what's gonna be like in the next 10, 15 years, bro. But you gotta take advantage of that. So you definitely want to get into coding now because the younger you are, you'll be able to learn faster.
Yeah,
I think you could definitely. I could definitely see you because you already know so much about computers. You were
I built my own computer too.
Wait, didn't you win like or you went to some nationals for some like robotics and shit, bro? It was. Get your ass and start learning about coding.
I've been learning, bro. I actually today as we speak, I actually just started my application to Coding Dojo. So most definitely I've been getting calls. I've been getting hit up. Right now I'm just looking into filling out some scholarships, applying to scholarships as much as I can. Because, I mean, the tuition isn't that high, but,
You still don't want to pay.
I-
I'm telling you, you look at those Latino like in tech
Yeah,
scholarships because that dude told me, he's like, I did a whole course and I didn't even look into it, but there's a lack of Latinos and Latino representation when it comes to tech. Just tech in general. Like there's Latinos are like one of the lowest demographics. So look at the scholarships for sure.
Yeah, dude, for sure. But yeah, going back to my plan, it's learning about tech, getting a job, and then from there, using that pay, whatever I could get out of the job, and then getting my credit right, getting my finances right, and then leveraging that and start investing into real estate, crypto, whatever I can get, because set myself up for the long term, because that's my mindset. Is as soon as I get hired, I'm preparing for when I get fired. So it's all about yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, the world's not in absolutes. Like you also gotta like slow your roll.
No, I know, but it's like.
But right now,
I'm just trying to make the smart decisions as I can. You know what I mean? So it's like you're using the job, you're not letting the job use you.
Yeah,
that's if you know what I mean.
No, you definitely can't get married to the job. I'm married to my job.
You're a YouTuber, bro. You like this shit.
Well, that's not the job I was married to. I'm married to fucking tile. But it's I think as long as you just keep learning. For me, there's so much shit I want to do that I'm not doing right now. But I became more patient. Like I said, same thing with the investment stuff that I was doing 3-4 years ago. Now I'm thinking, okay, I got to do one thing at a time. So one thing I've been doing is like thinking about taking steps like a computer. So, like I was playing a video game and you want your character to do something, but you don't press the button and then you get frustrated and like, oh, you get killed or they score on you or whatever. But it's like one function at a time. The same with the computer when I'm editing videos or when I'm doing something on one of the two screens and something freezes. Like let the computer, take its course and do one step, one click at a time. Like everything has to be one step. So I'm taking that approach right now as well. I can't do everything at once. Yeah. So right now I take a step back, focus on whether it's this job or trying to start this podcast studio, the podcast, the YouTube channel. Like I'm doing a lot, but in my mind, I feel like it's nowhere near what I want to be doing the next like 10 years.
10 years. You want to be running a bunch of things, multitasking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely, for sure. I've always had that problem, even in school. I've always taken I've always had a lot on my plate. Mm-hmm. I remember whenever we would do those projects, like even going to that national competition, I would have AP classes. And on top of that, I was doing this big, I would stay after school for like a long time, for like good 3-4 hours. Mm-hmm. School would end at 3 or 2. I would be there till 5, sometimes even 6 or 7, especially like during the last 2 weeks before we were trying to fly out to the national competition. Mm-hmm. Bro, it was crunch, especially those crunch times, because we were trying to do as much as we can. And I'm not. Now that I brought this up, it was tough, bro. Like doing the engineering competitions, because what we did is. I was crazy, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie, bro. Every day.
So what do you guys do? What do you guys build?
So we built like a life-size wind turbine out of like homemade material. So we would go out to Home Depot and buy like PVC pipes and make our base off of that. We would get like planes of plexiglass and make like a gearbox off of like plexiglass holding with like bolts and just homemade materials, anything that we could find at the hardware store. Yeah, we paid like $50.
Just try to build something.
Just to build like a little wind turbine that produces energy, put it into a tunnel with like 4 fans, and try to produce as much energy as we could. And we did that, bro. But every day, every like Monday through Friday, we would be carrying a bunch of supplies. Like we had a toolbox. We designed our base to like be foldable. So kind of like a foldable chair.
Be able to take it.
So we could take it anywhere we want, make it portable. And the toughest part of that is like we were made fun of. So when we were like lining up, like people would be tugging it, giving us a hard time. But it's just like, man, I was like telling like me and my team, like we were like, guys, what we're doing is bigger than all of us because we're a bunch of kids. I don't know if you've seen the movie. It's called Spare Parts. George Lopez was in it.
Spare Parts, no.
So it's about a team bro, it's a bunch of Latino kids from a small part of in Arizona, like kind of near Mexico.
Yeah.
That's literally us because in that movie, it was a bunch of like Latino kids from like a ghetto high school, filled with a bunch of predominantly Mexican, going into a robotics competition and end up beating MIT. Like, bro, that's literally the story of my high school. Like, that's literally what we did is like a bunch of Mexican kids going out, flying to Texas, Chicago, all these places and beating all these teams from like Minnesota, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina. Like, bro,
so you guys ended up winning?
We ended up winning, bro. We ended up being national champions. And that's what it felt so good because it was 3 years in the making. And all of that, it was just, man, the work, all that, like the hate that we got, it was just worth it, man. It's like the work finally paid off.
That's so dope.
Like,
so you guys ended up creating like the best with the best resources, or how was that judged?
So in engineering, you're always trying to find like, how can you make this cheaper? How could you make the best product at a cheaper price? And that's what we try to, like $50, right? Mm-hmm. We use PVC pipe materials because one, it was cheap. You get a long, pipe, and you cut that up. The more, we added fittings. Like, it was definitely cheap, but it was efficient. And we ended up racking the highest power with like man, I forgot, man. I can't talk about numbers right now, but we ended up getting a maximum power award that year in 2018.
Is that the year you guys went to? When you say you went to Houston to try out the NASA like space station?
Yeah, because we were in Houston. We were in Houston, Texas. It was held in the George something Convention Center.
Yeah.
But they had a NASA facility there, so like my engineering teacher was like, "Hey, let's go take the kids to the NASA
to see the propaganda."
Go see the propaganda. No, but it was this. They have all the rockets over there, so we got to go see the rockets and whatnot. And it was cool, but it was
playing
cool
with the moon rocks, and
it was cool seeing and all of that we actually funded.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was actually STEAM vice president.
Well, yeah, I mean, school's not gonna pay for shit. They don't pay.
We actually no, but what's cool is we actually fundraise everything, like
the whole project, the whole trip,
project,
the plane.
I think the district only paid for like the plane, the travel. I mean, that's it. But everything else we came out of our pocket. But we networked. Like, we went to Fantasy Springs because they were having like a business conference or something like that. And I actually went and presented, talking to some energy company that's here in the Valley.
That's dope.
Yeah, we got sponsored, got a check for that. And I think we were the club that got like the most like donations or the most fundraised club. And that year we won a national championship that hasn't, like, think about that, bro. Small group of kids from a small little valley went to Houston, Texas, the biggest state in the United States, winning a national championship. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
I still trip out to this. Like, I still trip out about that because it's like, I have never worked so hard for something.
Yeah.
I've never been so criticized in my life. And it's just like, for the work to just...
And you don't want to pursue engineering like in college or anything like that? I'm
doing software engineering.
Oh, well, getting into the
like IT. I learned all my skills, like my soft skills, my negotiating skills, my like I know how to present a project and whatnot. I know how to collaborate with people.
Yeah.
I know how to network, know how to present. I learned I spent my time working with people, so I know how to bounce off ideas. I know how to design. I'm a jack of all trades. Like, I wore so many hats in engineering, whether it was from, team management, hey, like we always had talks like, hey, like what could we do better?
I think you're cut out for this kind of.
So
that sounds dope.
I always wear a lot of hats. I could be a leader and like, hey, we need to do this and that. I could be a collaborator. Hey, what could we do? I could be a designer, whatever. I mean, In engineering, you always think about what could be done better because there's no such thing about being perfect. Like perfection is a mindset.
You just have to do.
You just got to do it. And so,
that's dope. I don't know shit about engineering. I guess architecture with like design.
There's a lot of aspects to engineering. It's more of just like you trying to figure out what you can improve on. Like, how could you improve? Like, how can you improve this computer or this product? But how can you make it effective but cheap at the same time? Because you got to think about the manufacturing. You got to take in a lot of considerations. Design, cost is number one, because if you design something that's too expensive, it's gonna be
hard to get that.
It's gonna be hard to sell, hard to outsource. So you want to make it cheap but effective, like shirts, right?
Yeah.
The quality is cheap. It's easy to sell, easy to manufacture. Perfect. So it's just finding those little things, those little cracks. Like you got to find the right in between. So engineering's like number one, bro. I mean, I wish a lot of people would pursue it. It's definitely, but again, with our school structure, it's kind of hard for people to get into mathematics and whatnot. Like, and that's I always go back to that saying is, or that point where school needs to be geared towards more about the individual rather than a one size fits all narrative where if you crumb in all these kids learning about this subjects that they don't even care about, they're not going to, like, the brain can only remember so much information that that it finds useful.
Yeah. And you're going to tune out all the stuff you don't care about.
Exactly.
I mean, most people don't care about anything, but that's why you got to take the Neuralink, bro. Taking it back to the last podcast.
Bro, you always go back to the Neuralink.
I'm telling you, bro, I'm going to get the Neuralink when it's like first batch, bro. I'm going to be the testing subject.
You're going to be the testing subject? Man, that's crazy. I mean, I'll be sure to play Cyberpunk 2077 just
I'm gonna be one of the characters in there. Nah, bro, that's so dope. Like that whole, I mean, you just went out for like 20 minutes on engineering, bro. I was just like, that's so dope. You have a passion and all the hard work. It definitely paid off. Let's get back into the questions.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go over some of the questions. I'm gonna only do a couple questions, but the one that stood out the most was submitted by Ricky. So shout out to Ricky for submitting this question.
Shout out Ricky.
He said, who is your biggest influence, but somebody you haven't met? So like the most influential person in your life that you have not met. It's a great question.
That is a very good question. My biggest influence, that's so hard because I have so many. Biggest would have to be Gary Vee. Biggest have to be Gary Vee because he's just a person that I always go to whenever like I feel unmotivated or you just have those days where it's like you question like, why am I doing this? And then I look at Gary Vee and just his messages. Like sometimes like sometimes I like especially when I was first like listening to him, I got his messages mixed up where it was like I worked, like watching his videos about work.
Yeah.
But it was his messages like are for different kinds of people. Like some videos are for people that don't put enough work and some people are for people that don't have enough patience.
Yeah.
So his message, like his videos geared towards different kinds of people. And I always go to him for inspiration in the sense of, what can I do better to be more effective? How could I process things in a bigger picture? How, for me as a young person, I look for him in the sense of how can I think long term and be more patient. Think long term, be patient, put in the work, do what I got to do, and I just like him for his creativeness and his collaborations that he does with people. His networking is on point.
Yeah.
I just like that he doesn't do what he does for money. Like he doesn't even see money. He's just constantly just trying to inspire and give in a good word. And he seems like a good dude and I would want to meet him. I mean,
yeah. Meeting Gary Vee would be dope. I definitely do the same thing. So whenever I feel like I'm motivated, and people like always tell me that I'm doing too much, but it's like when I watch this shit, like the whole hustle culture, it's just like you got to take advantage of the times. I know it's hard, and I give up a lot of my free time. Like I hardly hang out with my friends as much, or go to as many like parties, or even festivals and concerts. Well, that's because of other reasons.
Yeah.
the last 18 months, but I've been focused. Like weekends, I have to come to the studio after work. Like I'm off 5, 6, and I come to the studio sometimes 2 hours. Even if I edit a little bit, I feel like it's the whole compound. Like edit every day. I try to edit every day, whatever it is, small videos or work on a music video that I'm editing. Sometimes I feel like I do too much and I get myself into too much stress.
You get burnt out, yeah.
Yeah, definitely burnt out. But that's when I put on Gary Vee just to remind myself, like, we got a timeline. I'm all looking at me. I was just like, it's like I'm picturing a timeline.
Yeah,
so like we're still in the journey. So every year, I don't know who the fuck said that, but it's like every year's a chapter in a book that you're writing about your life.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want to go hard as fuck, and then you can't plan ahead. Like I don't really plan or set goals like a year or two in advance. I just do what I got to do.
You just do what you set out to do.
And even then, I feel like I don't do enough. Like there's a lot of shit that I wish I would have done. Like one was this podcast. I should have been doing this podcast more.
Since the beginning, or?
Since fucking 2015, because I did one episode with my friend, and we just didn't do it because one, we don't have the equipment. We didn't do it, but it's just like, I was going to do it either way.
Yeah.
I should have just done it. It's like the same way I started my YouTube channel. I didn't go all in. I was just kind of like half pregnant. It's
the same thing.
You can't be half pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was the same thing when I told you about my wrestling. Like I've been a wrestling fan like my whole life, and I didn't capitalize till now. But for sure, like just not, you got to be realistic with what you want. You know, if I want the 1% life, if I want to make this amount of money, or if I want to be in the position, in like whatever success means to you, you have to like do the work. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like whatever success means to you, whether if it's like being,
and that's another thing. I got a big mindset shift from Gary Vee.
Yeah.
So it's one, I wanted to do something that I was happy doing. So this podcast and like the studio and just doing all this shit, it's a big investment. Like I spent a shitload of money in this. Like it's a lot of money.
You have multiple cameras, lights,
it's insane,
lenses.
Bro. But I'm not looking at it how much money am I making right now, because I'm not making much on social media as like dollars.
I think
but the thing that I've done, I realized with podcasting, I've mentioned to you before, podcasting has opened so many doors just by having people on the podcast, where it's businesses, small business owners, artists. You get to see and enjoy other artists. Like there's artists out here in the valley that make some dope music, and I'd rather listen to those people than listen to shit on the radio. Like I listen to radio shit, but to be honest, like I can't name a Lil Durk or Lil fucking Baby song. I don't even know what I would, if I listen to it, I'd be like, oh, I heard the song before. I can't even name a song out of the top of my head. Like I know Juice WRLD was like famous or whatever. I don't know any songs by Juice WRLD. I know there's like a famous song that's really popular, but I don't know the name of it. I just know it by like
Lucid Dreams.
Yeah, that one. There you go. See, that one I know it. The same with like, there was a period in my life where I didn't listen to any music. It was all podcasting and all YouTube videos.
Yeah.
2016, 2017, 18.
Okay.
Maybe like 6. I don't know how long it was. I was driving every day, like 4 or 5 hours a day, going to Anaheim, picking up material. So 2 hours there, pick material, drop it off, pick it up in Anaheim, go to Irvine, drop it off, then drive back to the valley 3 hours during rush hour. I couldn't listen to music. It was just too much. So YouTube, listen to podcasts, Joe Rogan, listen to Wako Jilic, or what the fuck his name is. I would listen to Gary Vee podcasts. I would buy audiobooks. So I've bought probably like 60 or 70 audiobooks over the last like 4 or 5 years, bro. Like my Audible library is crazy.
It's stacked.
I started with fiction books, but even those got boring.
Yeah.
And I got into self-help books, which is pretty cool. They get repetitive.
They do.
Because it is, you could only learn so much, like we were saying. And it's the same subject. You just got to find the blue ocean strategy, create a plan, do this. But it's all about action though. Same with the YouTube channel. You just gotta fucking start. So I didn't consume any music during those 2-3 years period.
Did you see like music more as like entertainment? Like in the sense, like, did you feel like why didn't you listen to music?
I don't know. I just disconnected. I just felt like I was wasting time.
You were wasting time. Like
I don't know.
You weren't giving value from it, like in the sense of.
And that's what it was. I was not patient because I wanted it now. It's like I need to fucking learn more and read a new book and do it. One thing I did like was doing reviews. So that's when I started my YouTube channel. Like doing book reviews because I had read so many books.
Yeah.
And that kind of launched my YouTube career. So that was dope. And I got to learn a shitload, a bunch of obscure facts. Sometimes I know like random knowledge just because I'm always learning. Even YouTube videos I consume. Yeah. I don't watch vloggers. I don't watch, not even like Casey Neistat because he does more vlogs. I'd rather watch something that's teaching me something. I still kind of do that.
Yeah.
Recently I've been doing more comedy or listening to more comedy, more stuff. But for the most part, I just want to learn. Yeah. And then I think Gary Vee, I went on a rant. But
it's cool. It's cool.
The whole Gary Vee point was like, I know that hustle culture and work hard and do this, but be patient. That was the biggest thing. Yeah. So the same thing with day trading, that I stopped doing day trading or stopped doing swing trading, is like, just be patient. If I put money in now, fuck it. Put in money. Don't worry about what happens in the next 3 months. Worry about what happens in the next 10 years. Whatever happens with this podcast, like, I could be doing more to get more views in the short term and doing all this other shit.
You know what to do.
Like, I know what to do, but I just want to do something that I like. And I don't have to have 1 million viewers, but I know that the viewers that I have or the connections that I make when I have an interview with somebody, I think is super dope. And in my personal life, and it's been amazing. So
it outlasts, like,
yeah,
because that's the one thing that I respect when Angel Tiz came onto the podcast. Tune into that video. When Angel Tiz, he's like, if you could have all the success that you would want, would you be prepared for it? Would you be able to handle, like the millions of subscribers, the audience? Because, yeah, like you may say like some of your friends or family members may say you're doing a little too much, but you're racking up a catalog, the experience, so once you have your audience, once you capture your audience, they have all this content to watch on your channel. They have the podcast, they have the videos, all stacked, hundreds, probably by the time you get them, thousands of videos.
Yeah. Right now, I think on my main channel, I probably have like 500 views. 500 videos.
Dude,
that's a lot of
videos.
That's 500 videos on my main channel. On the podcast channel, I probably have like 50 or 60 videos. Yeah. And then I just believe in just posting more. And it's fun.
The consistency. Yeah. And even doing that, like when you say you invested, like you're investing in yourself and for what you want to do. Like, yeah, it might have costed a lot of money to do this, but at least you're doing something with it. You're doing something with the studio. You're doing something with these mics. So as long as you keep doing what you want to do, it's helping you in some sort of way. So you're not really losing. I mean, you're always creating content, so you're doing your best.
And as a result of me doing content, even though it's not the most entertaining, it was the best content that I could be making. Because I know I could be making better content that's more tailored towards a younger audience, more engaging, and doing all the shit that's going out of my way, which is I didn't want to do that. I don't want to feel like it's like I'm forcing myself to.
You want to be authentic.
Yeah, and I've already inspired a few people to start their own podcast, their own YouTube channel, to just put themselves out there. And like,
I think that means more.
That's so dope. Like when someone hits me up, like I've had 3 for sure on podcasting that they started a podcast where they hit me up. I help them a little bit, even if it's a conversation. Maybe I mean, they still got to do it themselves, but I think that's super cool. And YouTube channel too. Like, where I need to get a YouTube channel. I'm like, just start with your phone. That's what I started with. And I didn't even have a good phone like the phones from today, bro. And yeah, it is harder to create content now, but like even TikTok, I barely got into TikTok right now. I'm kind of still learning about it, but I'm just going to be posting podcast clips and stupid shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, fuck it. Just do whatever you got to do.
It's all about just as long as you realistic about what you want out of this life, out of, you know, what you want to make the most out of. Just make the right decisions, keep learning, keep growing, but don't just keep learning. Do, you know, I was looking down because I had a Nike shirt, but it was my workout shirt, but on some Nike shit, just do it, you know?
Yeah. It's always about doing it. Cause dude, I think I showed you my video ideas, and like I have like hundreds of videos that I want to make just on YouTube videos alone.
Bro, even the ideas that we have, dude.
But you do have to have a structure, and that's something I do struggle with structure in my life. Fucking I just freelance fucking every day, bro. I'm just like, fuck it, let's see.
You're just running and gunning.
Yeah, and especially because my job takes up so much of my time.
Yeah,
it's
hard to plan out,
to make plans. But I also know that if I plan everything right, I could do it. But I still don't do it. I don't know. I kind of like.
Do you think you need like somebody to help you out with the tile business? Is like that might help out so you could split the work, or what do you think you need?
Yeah, it's a lot of falls on me, but I'm learning. I feel like I'm way better off now than I was 6 months ago. Every job that happens, you know, we get a job, some things go wrong, some things go right, whatever. You learn. So I've had some experiences where I lost money, and it's like a lesson. So the next project that something comes up similar to that, you already learned from that. So just make sure you learn how to manage people better, what's worked in the past, what hasn't worked, what could you have done better, you know. In every situation where something went wrong, I know I could have done. Once you analyze it, it's like, fuck,
is it true what Gary Vee said? Because he said something about like him being a businessman. Like most people think when you're like a CEO or like a businessman, you're just there like enjoying the money. But like he said, him as a businessman, like he's putting out fires, like he's fixing problems. He's not like, that's the thing, is like a lot of people think about being a businessman and they just think, oh, like they just get paid and being in an office. Like, no, they're actually, you're fixing
that's
problems.
What it is. It's a perfect analogy. So yeah, Gary Vee, I've heard of that video before too. He says he's a fireman. He's not a business owner. He's a fireman. He's just putting out fires all day. And that's what I'm doing. Like I'm getting 100 calls a day and it's all problems. Oh, I need this material here. I have a problem. A homeowner's calling because I have a problem with this job. The commercial work we do is like, oh, they need more manpower on this job site. So you move guys around, you put them on this job site. Now the other job site's calling that they need more guys. And, oh, we got a delay of this material on this job, or there's a repair over here. We have it's like a million problems. And that's what I do all day. So it's just, I talk to homeowners. I talk to my bosses. I talk to employees. I talk to the stores and order material. And it's just all crazy shit. And every day is different, which is what I like about this job. And it doesn't end because Sunday I'm getting calls, or I'm making calls.
You're always getting calls, bro.
All day. I have to put my phone on Do Not Disturb because that's a hack, bro. Putting your phone on Do Not Disturb in the mornings. Like I don't turn it off until 6:45.
Okay.
Like sometimes by like 6:45 I have a bunch of missed calls already. But I set a rule like after 9 p.m. Do Not Disturb. And sometimes, like, I don't know, you've probably called me at night and I don't answer. It's just I just leave my phone charging. If it's an emergency, like we said, I'll usually wake up in the middle of the night because I drink a lot of water. So I'll just be like, okay, emergency or whatever. But I try to like disconnect from the phone. I definitely, in the future, want to get a second phone because the shit's getting crazy. But I do want to like learn a better system, which I am kind of implementing now. So
you want to have better
technology. That thing is the thing I don't use enough, like Google calendars and reminders. I'm pretty bad at like using technology in that sense, which is funny because
you're using
I could use computers, I could go fucking live stream, I got dual monitors, I could edit videos. But when it comes to like calendars and shit, like I like to write stuff down physically. It's weird. I don't know why.
Do you have like an assistant at your job or no?
Not really.
No?
Nah. I just do everything on my own. So yeah, it's I don't run the whole company. So my sister, she handles all the booking. So like,
okay,
checks,
so it's more
payment.
okay.
Yeah, no, she does a lot actually. I'm more like hands on the job sites. All the problems and shit. Yeah. But it's just like it's fun. I every day is fun because every day is an adventure. And like sometimes my brain is fried. Like by the time I come to like I've had some podcasts where I'm just like my brain is not there, bro. Like my brain's exhausted. Some messages, like I have hundreds of calls and messages that I don't even respond to sometimes. But like I said, it's just I'm just lucky to be in this position, and I'm happy that I'm able to do this on the side. And this is dope. But I also don't think about like, oh, once I reach a certain level on podcasting or YouTube, I'm just gonna quit my job because it's a family business, so I can't quit. Because there's so much that relies on this, and also the employees, and I want to make sure everybody's like doing well. So it's cool. It's
you just want to have like a side, like have this as like a side, and just have this be like its own thing. Yeah.
So I'm barely building. So what I want to do is definitely grow the podcast. That's just like more ego and the relationships, like we said.
Yeah.
That's like one of the main goals is to just keep doing this podcast. Whatever 1,000 episodes later, we'll see. We're barely gonna be 100. Actually, we're closing in on 100 podcasts.
Oh shoot, we got to do
It's like late 80s, maybe early 90s already. I don't know. Like I don't know what episode this is. It's late 80s something. So the podcast is gonna be something. My main YouTube channel. I'm making Coachella videos right now. I have more plans for that channel, and then I definitely want to start the film one, which I already have a film channel where I post my videos.
I was about to ask you, like, did you already like change the profile picture and everything from the page?
On the Instagram page, I did. I changed the name. I changed the logo. I haven't promoted it. I didn't export the one video. So on this, I haven't showed you the edit for Mills's video, huh?
No.
So then the edit for Mills's video, the latest music video that we're dropping.
Yeah.
I added the logo in it.
Okay. So at the India Food Park, they're having like an event, and we're gonna be filming that too. So we gotta like put that on the.
Oh yeah, when we make that edit, it's gonna be that'll be probably the first video, and then we'll do the one for Izzy.
Yeah.
And then the music video. So that'll be
we'll have
back to back. Well, we have so much behind the scenes too. Yeah, so it's like everything's its own channel, you know. So you're gonna have.
You have content for Coachella. You have the podcast for networking. You have our film, our videography stuff, like on the story.
Yeah, just trying to separate everything because it's one thing. It's hard for me to grow, and I didn't want to do this. It's like niching down. So I understand that if I would have made those 500 videos I have on YouTube, and they were all in one niche, I would have been big right now. But I don't want to do that.
Well, you were experimenting at the time, and
of course, the first like 200 videos were experimenting. Even now, I'm still experimenting with content, but I still like YouTube more than any platform. Well, one, I consume more YouTube than anything, but it's just like YouTube videos are.
It's the way to go.
And then you're documenting your life, bro. Like I have videos where I could look back 5 years ago, see how I look, my thoughts on certain stupid shit, and
your beard growth.
My beard has grown on videos form. It's there forever. I don't know. I kind of like that platform compared to Instagram, which is getting boring, bro. Like Instagram's whack.
Yeah.
Because TikTok came along, and TikTok's kind of taking all the best things out of Instagram, and Instagram just became ads and just a bunch of fake shit. So
yeah, I
like Instagram too. I mean, I go on every day and I have conversations there with people, which is one of the main things. But definitely YouTube. YouTube's forever.
YouTube is forever. I mean, you get to see like videos and stuff like that from like old videos, like you said. Like YouTube's kind of like close to a time machine because you could go back to like old videos,
and your videos have longer life. So today they're evergreen content. Today I got a comment on a video I made like 7-8 months ago, and I even forgot about that video, bro. I thought I had that video private, to be honest.
Oh, what the heck?
And so in content, like, wow, so like it was like a positive comment. I was like, what the fuck? And then also that video when I first dropped, it had like 30-40 views.
Yeah.
And right now it's almost like 500 views on its own. Like,
oh wow,
it's not even on my main page. Like you have to go back like 7 months to find that video. It was when I reacted to like a Mexican music video, which then I was like, wait, should I do more of those videos? Like people seem to fucking search that up. So I don't know. There's it's a lot of plans that we have, but it's been fun.
It's just doing all it. Just keep doing, keep expanding, keep growing, keep doing.
What's your experience so far with creating YouTube videos or just doing?
It's been
just. For you to like where you were 6 months ago, you were fucking thinking about Zoom and shit.
You're not wrong. I mean, for me, like a lot has changed in the past 6 months. Like you said, like you just mentioned, just in the position where I'm at, like I 100% agree with you. The amount of people that I've met, like I would have never met Mills if it wasn't for you. And Mills and I, like, we're like best friends. I would have never met you. I would have never met Selected Series. Shout out Selected Series. Would have never met Ricky. Just making content and being inspired by like creatives, keep like expanding and processing and learning all these things. Like I didn't even know what an ATM mini was. I didn't even know like different ways and different styles of making content. Like honestly, I'm just taking it all in. I'm just like absorbed in it, processing it, doing what I can to be better. I'm always learning how to do things better. And just, man, it's like, it's been a journey. And even though it's only been what, 6 months, 5 months, I felt like I've done so much already. And you know what? It's like, we're barely even getting started. Like this morning, I actually got a text message from my old history teacher.
Yeah.
He commented on the Messi signing with PSG. He's like, hey, you should have had me on the podcast. I would have had a lot to say. And I'm like, I told him you should come to the studio, talk soccer. And then he told me like, man, it was an honor having you as a student because everything that you're doing, like I knew you were gonna be doing something, and just like, you know how like I post, you know, everything on Instagram, and he's like, I've been seeing everything that you're doing, and you're definitely in a good spot. And honestly, like I responded, I'm like, man, I trip out sometimes because like where I'm at, you know, with working with you and working and doing all this stuff, it's definitely been a lot. I mean, it's been a huge learning experience, but honestly, I wouldn't have it either way. Like actually doing the filming
and editing,
it's an experience.
I remember when you first started, then we ended up doing the red carpet with the
it was
celebrities,
insane, bro. What the heck? Like I never thought
that shit was cool. Meeting Michael J. White, a movie premiere, like everything happened so fast. And like you said, we're barely getting started because now like you're learning. I remember I sent you to do a fucking quinceañera on your own with my homie. Shout out to Jose. Like
I definitely feel like I got better on the filming.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, listen on some of those shots were a little questionable to say least.
Bro,
nah, it's cool.
But it was so unexpected. Like, what the heck? Like,
you just got to throw you into the fire, dog. That's what I mean. Nah, bro, it's exciting because this is just the beginning. The podcast, we're barely starting on this podcast the way I've been wanting it. Like, even the first, 10 episodes that we did on this studio, there was always something off. Like it was the lighting was off, the mics were off, the camera angles,
the ISO
was off. There was the wrong lens on the camera. We've had so many issues. Cameras turn off.
You know what? But it's a process. You know, it's.
But it's part of the learning. So
it's all part of the learning.
Now you weren't here, but we changed the whole studio around. I feel like there's more room now.
There's more room.
There's definitely way more room. It's not gonna be as hot anymore, so we fucking stopped sweating. The last episode I was sweating like you were sweating like crazy. On the video, bro.
It was a hot show. It was a hot show. Okay.
Hot topic. It was 120, humid, and then we're all sweating here. That's one of the reasons I haven't had a lot of guests too, because I don't want it to be suffering through the heat.
Yeah.
I want to make sure they're comfortable a little bit. So
especially for those that wear like a lot of layer clothing.
Yeah, for sure. But it'll be interesting in this fall season, and I don't know, whatever it takes us. Music videos, we're definitely gonna be creating more. I can't wait for people to see this new music videos. It's gonna be fire, bro.
And we have so much content too because we documented, bro. We
documenting, bro. We got to document.
We don't create, we document.
We still got the skate park stuff.
Mills was actually asking me like, hey, do you have any footage of like any of the stuff like for promotion? And I told him, all the footage is in the studio. From him performing.
So what we're going to be doing is a release plan. So I saw this thing about how artists should release music.
Right.
You got to start teasing it now. So let's say I want to release it on a Tuesday because Tuesday's not a lot of action. Okay. You can't release music on a Friday because it's heading into the weekend. It's stupid. It's suicide. Monday's cool. Tuesday I think is a great time because Monday's like everyone gets back to work. Tuesday's like, okay, we're established. There's not a lot of stuff happening. So maybe this Tuesday we could release, but it's already what? Nah, it's too soon. Yeah. Next Tuesday. So in like 10 days, the 760 video is gonna drop. It's already 90%, 98% done. I just gotta shoot one more scene with the Kool-Aid. Maybe at the front of the fairgrounds. I gotta do a couple more shots. But anyway, the video's done. Now we send the footage, pictures with. You gotta see the picture I took of Mills at 74, bro. That shit was insane. So what I say is like artists, we need to create a plan. So one, you start dropping the release date. You tell them next Tuesday. Now you have 10 days to post as much content as you can. We'll be posting pictures, teaser videos, even maybe snippets from the video, which I might not do. I might not do. Maybe I'll do some raw footage of that, like how it sounded raw, and just to see all the like gangster foods. That'll be fun. That video's gonna be fun.
We got a lot of content, bro. Everything, like from whatever scene we were doing, whatever, like we have documentation of that, and even just doing that whole video was a process of its own. So we could make like so much content, like 3, 4, like probably 3 videos off of that. Like, and I think that's cool for people to see too as well. Like, hey, how did we go from this? Kind of like a behind the scenes.
Well, that's why you release the behind the scenes, and everyone gets to see what it was like to shoot that video. And now, because you also took pictures. Do you take pictures? You were taking pictures with the one camera when we were doing the lowrider scene, or not?
Yeah.
Because I have pictures of Mills up 74, and I have pictures of Mills. I think
I was taking video and pictures, I believe.
I took some pictures when we did the skate park scene. Not that many.
Yeah.
But we have some pictures there too. So we have enough for the next 10 days.
Yeah.
And if not, like we could create some shit. And then when I had Mills' reaction to his video, that shit was dope too.
We have that, bro. I'm telling you, bro, we have so much content in our hands, even with the whole food park, like even when we get to make the food park video too.
One day we'll do that shit forever, my boy.
We got to.
Yeah, we'll do okay. Well, let's wrap it up because it's already late. I gotta go to work.
You gotta go to work
tonight. Nah, but yeah, like I don't even know what the fuck we didn't even answer all the questions. We'll answer them next time. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. You guys are watching or listening to it on iTunes. Make sure you guys give us a 5-star rating. And then thank you guys for joining today.
Yeah, for sure. It was a pleasure.
Brian opening up and telling us his deepest secrets, bro. This episode was about you, bro.
Nah, it wasn't, bro. I tried to make it relatable. It was about school, man. It's back to school season, so some people can relate. I mean, it is what it is. We're talking about Messi signing a PSG. We were answering some of your questions. We were talking about school. We went off too, like talking about football, athletes, all that stuff. So, I mean, it was definitely a good episode. So, yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching, listening.
For sure. And then make sure, click right here. Click right here if you guys want to see another episode of the podcast, or click right here to watch something YouTube thinks you should watch next. And that's it.
Are you live?
I wasn't. Oh, shit, I'm live on Instagram. I wasn't live on Instagram the whole time, though.
Damn, my bad, bro. I couldn't think because of, like, I was thinking about, like, the camera angle.